Going that way, guys.
Chaos erupted outside a Miami club when boxing stars Terence Crawford and Gervonta Tank Davis collided in a shocking confrontation that has the sports world buzzing. The altercation escalated quickly, with insults flying, families dragged into the mix, and both fighters putting their careers at risk. It all began when Davis, in a moment of provocation, insulted Crawford and his family, and pushed the envelope even further by mocking Crawford's desire to fight Canelo Alvarez. While tensions had been brewing for months, this night marked a breaking point for the two. Let's set the stage for what happened that night. Miami, known for its wild nightlife, was buzzing with celebrities and sports stars frequenting the hottest club in town. Among the VIP guests were Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis, both taking the opportunity to unwind after their recent fights. Initially, the two boxing icons were separated, enjoying the night without any signs of conflict. However, as the evening wore on, their paths crossed, and what began as light teasing soon turned into an all-out verbal battle. Witnesses report that the situation began to change when Davis approached Crawford, seemingly looking for a confrontation. What started as harmless banter quickly spiraled into something much more intense. Davis began making personal jabs at Crawford, including direct insults about his family. These comments hit a nerve, but Crawford, known for his composed nature, initially tried to brush it off. However, the situation took a drastic turn when Davis began ridiculing Crawford's ambitions to fight Canelo Alvarez. Davis taunted Crawford, laughing and saying that Canelo didn't care about him and that Crawford was only chasing a payday. "Canelo doesn't even care about you, man. You're just chasing a fight for the money," Davis allegedly said. "There's no chance a fight with you is happening." This was the turning point. The words cut deep, and the atmosphere in the club turned sour. Crawford, who had been trying to remain calm, suddenly snapped. Without warning, he charged at Davis, throwing a punch that stunned everyone around them. Security quickly intervened, rushing to separate the fighters, but the scene had already descended into chaos. People screamed in panic, cameras flashed, and the club became a frenzy of movement. This moment, while shocking, wasn't entirely out of the blue. The animosity between the two had been building for months, fueled by a series of social media insults and jabs exchanged publicly. The beef between Crawford and Davis began several months ago when Crawford mocked Davis for not being invited to an exclusive event hosted by legendary promoter Eddie Hearn in London. This was a dig that didn't sit well with Davis, who retaliated by accusing Crawford of being obsessed with paychecks rather than pursuing greatness in the sport. The personal animosity intensified after Crawford's decision to move up in weight and challenge Canelo Alvarez, which Davis didn't take kindly to. Davis made it clear that he thought Crawford's decision was more about money than about legacy, and Crawford's chase for the Canelo fight became a running joke. He mocked Crawford for thinking he could land a fight with Canelo, saying it was all about payday rather than competitive merit. As the back and forth continued, the tension between the two only heightened. Things escalated further when Davis attacked Crawford's character, claiming he was only focused on financial gains. He mocked Crawford's move to face Canelo at 168 pounds, calling it a circus match. Many critics had already questioned Crawford's decision to challenge Canelo, and Davis's comments made it clear that he wasn't backing down from this stance. "I'm not worried about Canelo," Crawford had said, expressing his confidence in the move. "I'm focused on my next challenge, and if the money's right, why not fight Canelo?" But Davis didn't let up. He ridiculed Crawford for thinking Canelo even cared about him. The two continued to exchange taunts, each insult escalating the tension further. In a separate interview, Crawford had addressed the Canelo situation more seriously, explaining his desire to prove himself against the biggest names in boxing. He spoke about legacy, expressing his belief that the fight against Canelo, if it were to happen, would be a defining moment in his career. But Davis wasn't having it. He laughed off the idea, claiming Canelo had bigger fish to fry, and mocked Crawford's ambition. "You're out here begging for a fight like it's your retirement plan," Davis said, further fueling the fire. The back and forth between the two men was getting more heated as the night went on. But it wasn't just about Canelo anymore. Personal jabs had crossed a line that neither fighter could ignore. Crawford had tried to take the high road, but the constant ridicule wore him down. He tried to maintain his cool, but found it impossible to ignore the insults any longer. In the midst of this tension, Crawford's own career ambitions were being questioned. The fight with Canelo was a big deal in the boxing world, but some critics felt it was a step too far. The fight, seen by some as a mismatch in terms of weight, was dismissed by many as a move purely for the paycheck rather than for the competitive challenge. As the tension built throughout the evening, social media exploded with reactions. Fans quickly picked sides, with some rallying behind Crawford, arguing that Davis had crossed the line by insulting Crawford's family. Others saw Davis' taunts as a strategic move to stay in the headlines, a move designed to keep fans talking as he neared retirement. In the midst of this drama, word started spreading that Davis had his own plans for the future. Reports suggested that he was in talks for a massive rematch with Ryan Garcia, one of boxing's most highly anticipated matchups. The deal was said to be worth an eye-popping $150 million, and the involvement of high-profile figures like Turkish promoter Erdal Elik was only adding fuel to the fire. Elik, known for backing some of the biggest fights in boxing, was reportedly behind the scenes, orchestrating the hype and pushing for these blockbuster events to come together. Elik's role in shaping the current landscape of boxing was becoming more apparent, as he worked behind the scenes to create mega events that would captivate fans. Whether it's Crawford chasing Canelo or Davis ramping up rivalries, Elik's influence is undeniable. His involvement in these high-stakes negotiations adds another layer of intrigue to the drama. While Davis's potential retirement looms large, his ability to keep fans interested in his every move is clear. His rivalry with Crawford is a key part of the ongoing spectacle, and despite the tensions, it's evident that both fighters are building towards something bigger. Fans are waiting for the next chapter, but they're not the only ones watching closely. For Crawford, the situation has serious implications. With a big fight against Canelo on the horizon, the last thing he needs is to be involved in a public brawl. The damage to his reputation could jeopardize future negotiations and sponsors, not to mention the damage done to his fight with Canelo, which many now see as uncertain. Davis, on the other hand, has hinted that his days in the ring are numbered. Retirement talk has been circulating for months, and this incident could push him even closer to walking away from boxing. But with rumors of a huge payday for a fight with Garcia still circulating, it's clear that Davis isn't finished yet. This brawl, however, could leave a shadow over his legacy. The incident has raised questions about whether boxing authorities will intervene. Fighters involved in public altercations face the risk of fines, suspensions, and damaged reputations. Given the high profile of both fighters, it's likely that the incident will have far-reaching consequences in the world of boxing. At the heart of it all, though, is the question, could this altercation lead to an official fight between Crawford and Davis? The weight difference between them is significant. Crawford, a welterweight, is moving up to face Canelo at super middleweight, while Davis has dominated at lightweight. But in boxing, stranger things have happened, and with both fighters on a collision course for greatness, anything is possible. For now, fans are left to wonder whether this confrontation will turn into a sanctioned fight or if it will remain a fleeting moment of drama. The boxing world is watching, and the fight could be one of the biggest spectacles in recent history if it happens. The stage is set for fireworks, but the question remains, will they settle it in the ring, or will the beef continue on the streets? Whatever happens next, one thing is certain, the story between Crawford and Davis is far from over.